So the next session of the Starts in Motion Day is Art Tech for Museums, Artists and the Industry, and will showcase digital art-driven solutions and platforms supporting the digital empowerment of the cultural heritage, artistic and industrial sectors. The session will be introduced by Kristina Maurer, who is head of European projects of Ars Electronica. Kristina is outstanding art curator who develops exhibitions at the nexus of art, society, and technology at Ars Electronica. She is an experienced producer of events and workshops with artists, universities, and scientific partners such as MIT Media Lab and European Space Agency, and is committed to European projects such as Start Prize and Start Ecosystem. So her research investigates how AI, biotechnology, and new technologies impact our society. And she is also a fantastic manager and mentor for Starts in Motion and has supported different projects in connecting with museums and preparing their installations. So thank you very much, Kristina, for introducing the perspective of Ars Electronica on how the arts and the digital can co-create and bring new perspectives. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Martina, for this very kind introduction. It has really been a great joy to go on this journey with all of the participating teams and also together with Aurélie and Martina over the past months. And I'm super happy now to share a few thoughts on our session on Art Tech for Museums, Artists and the Industry. So as Martina has mentioned, I work at Ars Electronica as a curator and producer. And for Ars Electronica, being a connection, a platform at the intersection of art, society and technology, the connection between art and tech and artists that have chosen the exploration of technology as their artistic medium has, of course, been inherent to our mission since our inception in the late 70s. And Ars Electronica is built on several pillars that have different foci. So to name just a few, the Ars Electronica Festival is an experimentation field for artists exploring critical implications of technology. The Ars Electronica Center opens up an extremely versatile space for critical topics such as AI, biotech, or data governance to a very broad general public, from youngsters to senior citizens to families, through workshops, exhibitions, and hands-on experiences. And the Ars Electronica Future Lab, for example, works on cutting-edge research, immersive experiences, new products and technologies in large-scale research projects, and together with big industry partners. So we have a lot of different approaches, but we are really connected all across these areas in one aspect, and that what we do here, we don't only present artwork and artists, but artistic practice is really an integral part to the development and production of our exhibitions, interactive exhibits, and immersive installations, but also to digital services such as online workshops, capacity building programs, residency or mentoring programs. So we do all of this really in co-production, in co-development, in co-creation with artists, either from outside of Ars Electronica or even from the inside, where we have a lot of artists working with us here, because we really do believe that the creative and artistic vision that they bring to the table is essential to implement a view of technology that is critical, empathetic, and holistic. And that really brings me in a circle to the 4 participating teams and projects that we are going to hear from in a minute, that are Uncopied.Art, Unmute, WeKit, and Digital Fashion Framework. And from my perspective, they really share this similar approach and have identified various currently extremely critical areas to artists and the artistic community, to museums and cultural institutions, but also for other sectors such as the fashion or the gaming industry. So they really see a need for open source and innovative ways and accessible and secure the authenticity of artworks. They see a need for creating inclusive online spaces that are easy to use, easy to navigate, and easy to engage with. giving a framework and package service to artists, museums, and curators to create online exhibitions and present their work. They see a need for digital, collaborative, and immersive platforms that provide really a professionally designed and hosted backend to create your own digital products and to commercialize them. And they also see a need for innovative and immersive ways of recording, preserving, and making accessible aspects of our own cultural heritage, of handcraft, of artistic craftsmanships that might otherwise get lost to history. So I really see that all of these teams and participants of Starts in Motion are supporting and engaging needs of artists and the artistic community, and creative producers really hands-on with their own creative vision in their products and services. And what I think is really, really crucial is that they critically examine and develop their projects and the technologies they are using with a view towards sustainability, longevity, artistic integrity, and also ethical considerations. So for me, in the end, what's really unique about these platforms and products and services that we are going to hear from in a minute is that they are extremely versatile and give really a myriad of possibilities in how they can be applied in practice. But most importantly, they frame the technology that they apply in a way that promotes and supports the ecosystem of artists and creative producers and technologists in their own work. So whether it be in sharing with them a new and exciting platform, an online tool to showcase and share their works, whether it's the collaborative platform and marketplace where they can design, model, and trade digital creations, whether it's really providing them with a technology that allows them to preserve their own craft and working process for future generations, or whether it's in providing artists and the art world with new approaches to authenticate their work. So, of course, I think we are all on the same page that the cultural sector, the CCI, and the arts field comes with its own huge challenges in establishing these kinds of products and new approaches. So I want to give a big props to all of the teams going on this journey. And I'm super excited now to hear from all of them and to hear about their projects.
Thank you, Kristina. So I'm Elian Carsonard, and I am the founder of Uncopied.Art. So Uncopied is a new service to create certificates of authenticity, proof of provenance for both digital and physical artworks. And to do that, we use a technology from the Middle Ages, the chirograph. So this is a chirograph from the 13th century. As you can see, it's simply a sheet of paper with exactly the same content, a legal contract written 3 times, and then it is cut along the lines with, based on a random pattern. So the 2 contracting parties go with their own copy, and a trusted third party has a proof of the existence of this contract. What's interesting in the chirograph is it acts as a mathematical function, a mathematical one-way function. It's easy to cut this sheet of paper in 3 parts, but it would be very hard to make the parchment or the sheet of paper whole again. Another interesting aspect is it comes from a unique sheet of paper, and this property of unicity can be moved to an object, physical or digital object. So let me share a quick presentation as well. And so the objective of Uncopied is to make original truly unique. What problem do we solve? Obviously, the main problem we solve through this chirograph is the aspect of unicity. We might think that NFTs, for example, we hear a lot about NFTs, resolve the question of unicity of a digital object. But in our world, anything can be copied or faked. Physical objects can be copied. This limited edition print can be copied for a low cost. And as for NFTs, 2 NFTs can be made from the same digital source. So how do we solve that? We combine the can't duplicate chirograph, which is the Uncopied chirographs has 5 parts with lots of QR codes, but it's still easy to make. Just print it, cut it with scissors. We have a plain English physical document, or in French or any other language, to certify the authenticity, clarify aspects of intellectual property. We use very extensive metadata, linked art or schema.org, to describe the artwork in a future-proof format that will be used by any museum collection system. Long-term conservation is also a very important aspect, just to make sure that all the digital assets are stored forever on multiple locations in an efficient way that is not going to waste resources and ecological resources as well. Reverse image search is the only way to detect copyright infringement on many contexts. For example, in the context of NFTs, in the context of art that is distributed through external platforms like Instagrams. And yes, we do use also blockchain technology to secure all this connection between the physical chirograph, the documentation, the metadata. We use a very carbon-friendly blockchain called Algorand, which has the nice property of being very cheap, forkless, based on proof of stake, which is 100,000 times more efficient than, for example, Ethereum or alternatives. So the chirograph is easy to make, hard to fake. It can also be made not just by hand, but it can be also automated for large galleries or museums. And the way we detect similarity is through image recognition, artificial intelligence, very similar to reverse image search of Google. And so who are we interested to meet? Artists, galleries, museums, IP lawyers who would be interested to be early adopters. Thank you very much. We look forward to hear from you, and long live the chirograph.
Thank you very much, Leon, for your presentation, and I want to say a great thank you also to Kristina for her wonderful introduction. Now we will have the second project pitching, who is Unmute, Jaboli.
Hey, thank you. We don't have screen sharing ability right now.
I'm going to give you.
Hello from Honolulu, Hawaii.
Okay. Sorry?
Okay.
It should work now.
It says we have to restart in order to.
Okay, we will wait a little bit and we will make you presenter again. No? Okay. I'm going to make you presenter.
Yeah.
Should be all right. Great.
Cool. You see the screen unmute, right?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jia Baoli, an artist, designer, and technologist.
And I'm Cooper Goblin. I'm a scientist and engineer. We're currently in Honolulu, Hawaii, where it's about 3 a.m. So forgive us for the red eyes.
So we created Unmute. It's an online platform for art exhibitions. The pandemic has shown us the necessity to appreciate art beyond the physical boundary of museums. So we created this space for people to engage with new media art at the comfort of their home, together with friends across countries. Unmute allows people to view art in a connected social way without having to fly to another city or country. Unmute is a space to exhibit many forms of digital art, such as game, video, AR, that are better experienced online than in a white box museum, where you have to queue to only play for several minutes. Unmute expounds who can be curator and challenges institutional gatekeepers. The platform satisfies the needs of art lovers to view art and stay connected during the pandemic and beyond. Unlike many choppy online exhibitions that replicate the white walls of a museum in 3D but show the works in 2D, Unmute is 2D browser-based to simplify the experience so that people can focus on the artwork. The browser-based experience also makes art viewing much more accessible for a large audience with varying devices, comparing to the 3D environment. Unmute is optimized for artworks that work really well in the browser-based format. For example, games. You can play right here, right away, skip the queue, skip the rush, save the search. We got them all here. Or 3D content, put them in your home, recontextualize, view them full scale in AR. With a special chat feature, people can come to the exhibition and discuss the works together with friends. We can move closer to talk, just like in real life. Artists and curators can give live tours for the visitors throughout the exhibitions. At the end of each exhibition, there's a lobby for people to discuss the artwork. When you need everybody's attention, you can use the loudspeaker in the center to broadcast across the entire lobby. When you want the private conversation, the private room is right there.
We have launched and are testing with a group of hundreds of friends. Generally, our strategy is engaging the market as quickly as possible while people are still most receptive to online events, building a hardcore fan base and growing organically. We've enlisted several well-known new media artists, such as Sputniko, Zach Lieberman, and Annie Liu, who are all globally known new media artists who have shown beautiful online work. They've shown works in the New York MoMA and in Cooper Hewitt, for example, and we believe that they'll be good champions for our platform to their pre-existing fan base. They send us their artwork, and then we work with curators to create the online spaces that Jiabao showed you earlier and will demo in a minute. We will then create marketing material for them to rely on their pre-existing network of supporters as a form of digital marketing. Along with that strategy, we'll rely on friend referral, family packages, and company art jamming events to generate an expanding viewership of our exhibitions, scaling at a rate that our technology can support. We may also look for artists with local followings and help them to engage in localized marketing, for example, with a selection of Chinese new media artists. Once we have the rights to show a large set of content, we will experiment with ways to synthesize and combine curations of work with our existing fan base. We will then explore other models of monetization, such as selling access for universities or individuals for educational purposes, or selling a subscription service or membership to art lovers, similar to what museums do. We have two business models. The first is very simple. We charge a small fee for those who visit each exhibition and split the profit with the artists. The second model we're rolling out simultaneously will harness the community building capabilities of Unmute and the growing interest in owning and collecting digital art. We will help exhibiting artists sell some of their works as non-fungible tokens, which are a form of creating unique, limited digital copies of a piece of art. We will then create virtual communities for superfans of the digital artists and bundle access for those communities with the sale of their art on NFT platforms. The buyers can enjoy a private led tour by the artist on Unmute. These Unmute communities will provide access to the artist in a spatial chat room format and with scheduled talks. We will facilitate connections between these fans and benefactors. Benefactors will also own a private exhibition space to showcase their NFT collections to their friends. This is our talented team of designers, developers, artists, and technologists. Jiabao was a designer at Apple, a TED speaker, and graduated from Harvard University School of Design. I was a strategy consultant at McKinsey. I got my PhD from Stanford University. Yiwen specialized in design, technology, and psychology. Lian Tsai was a front-end software developer at Google and has been providing tech solutions for nonprofits. And Joanna is a senior back-end software developer at Bloomberg. We have a highly interdisciplinary team where each of us specialize in different core unit of the business. Together, we were able to launch this product that we're so excited to demo for you today.
Here's the demo. So we have Spanicos exhibition, and you can enter, and here you can move around. This is my icon, and if there are other people here, I can chat with them. Other things like the game by Annie Liu, I can just play here directly. For example, here is about sexism and racism in the work.
Sorry, we
are
out of time. Sorry. Really need to thank you very much.
Well, we hope that you all can.
Okay. We really need to skip to the next pitch. Thank you very much. And the next project who will be pitching is Digital Fashion Framework. And Lily Bartra is there, right?
Hi, everyone. Yes, I am here, and Nina as well, my co-founder.
Fantastic.
Yeah, perfect. Can we share our screen? Okay, I will just try. Oh, great. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Oh, great. First time doing it in this app, so fingers crossed. All right. Well, hi everyone. My name is Lily, and I'm the founder of Digital Fashion Framework. And today we are going to chat a tiny bit about what our studio is doing. Just a question: can you see this GoToMeeting panel on the left, or is it only for me? Because it's quite huge. You don't see it, right?
And the others?
No,
Okay.
I don't think we see it.
Okay, great, perfect. And you can hear me well, I hope. Great, so let's get into it. As I mentioned, I'm Lily, and I'm the founder, and I'm trying to skip a slide. Perfect. I'm a fashion designer, XR specialist, and I founded this studio because coming from my physical fashion experience, I couldn't help but notice the critical issues that the fashion industry and the lifestyle industry at large faces. I decided that with my creative and technical skill set, I will investigate digital tools and see how we can drive positive social and environmental change through them. Today, I'm joined by Nina Hampson, who's my co-founder, and she's the business lead of the company. She's a serial entrepreneur who has built with big success a fashion and a tech company.
Hi, so I'm Nina. I hope you can hear me okay. Our studio is focused on developing experiences targeting Gen Z. Gen Z are going to be about 30% of our global workforce by 2030. And a bit about them, they're really socially and eco-conscious, so think Greta Thunberg, and they're really digital natives. And by that, I mean they're the first generation who really have little or no memory of the world before smartphones. So because of this, they don't tend to distinguish between the physical and digital world, which is totally different to the generations before them, and means that they're leading a sizable shift in customer behavior. They're really wanting to engage in physical meets digital, which we call phygital experiences, particularly ones that are sustainable and have a limited impact on the planet.
This helps to reinvent how fashion is consumed. There's a huge transition from physical product consumption to experience-based consumption through instant or on-demand business models, using emerging technologies, interactive experiences, virtual try-ons, filters, augmented and virtual reality.
Mm-hmm. So just a bit about the market. Virtual fashion is actually forecast to be the next big wave of growth in the already booming immersive market. As you can see here, the immersive market is set to be worth about 1.5 trillion by 2030. That's about a 340,000% growth in 10 years. Partially driven by Gen Z, but also driven by the fact that the pandemic has made people a lot more open to digital adoption than they have been previously. The digital market fashion is also set to grow in about 30% in 2030 alone. And it's really starting to create a buzz in the media, especially when you start to read about digital outfits or bags being sold for $10,000. It's really starting to create a buzz and some traction in the market.
Exactly. And let us show a little video on what we have been working on in the last year since the studio was founded. Utilizing the emerging technologies, we create virtual fashion experiences also for lifestyle and gaming companies, actually. We are utilizing the impossible features of digital realms. We are bringing new understanding to products and consumers and create new ways of engaging with the latest products of brands, retailers, and game companies. We believe that using virtual technologies, immersive and engaging experiences, we can really challenge how fashion and lifestyle is being consumed. So just to summarize, we are working with immersive experiences, extended realities, virtual and augmented reality applications through digital creation, digitization, 3D asset generation, and gamification, because we want it to be fun and playful. Our studio is really, really committed to create positive social change. We are thriving to create a more inclusive, more diverse, and more democratic era for the fashion consumption.
I just have to mention here that our video went very, very quickly. I think it was on double time. But anyway, we're currently developing a new virtual commerce platform, which will allow users to customize, wear, and trade virtual fashion. At the moment, it's quite difficult. You either have to use Snapchat filters or the outfits are rendered onto the body. So we're hoping to kind of change this up and actually help people wear things instantly. So Lily's just going to show you a sneak peek of our new or the starts of our new platform.
Exactly. I hope it's not too fast. This is just a teaser because we are trying to be still very careful about what we disclosed. However, I think it's quite clear that when we say the virtual realm has no limitations, the impossible materials and impossible outfits are now available to become part of our reality. So I'm really eager to bring this new type of fashion consumption to you guys, actually. And just to summarize, we are really, really excited to kind of innovate and drive positive change in this industry, but also at the lifestyle industry large. If you're interested to learn more about this, or you just have questions about technologies in fashion, feel free to get in touch with us. Currently, we are raising money for our virtual commerce platform. If that's interest to you, please drop us a message. You can find us on digitalfashionframework.com. Thank you for the attention. And I will try to stop sharing. Yay.
Great, thank you very much. So the next project who will be pitching is Wicked ECS by Carl Hayden Smith. So I'm going to give you. Okay.
Okay, let me see if I can share screen. 1 second. One second. Okay, I think like the others, I have to restart to be able to share screen. Give me a second.
No problem. No problem.
Okay, I'm still not able to share screen for some reason.
Yeah.
Anyone give me some tips on how to share screen? It's saying I need to go into accessibility settings. It's not obvious.
It's not.
Hang on, maybe.
The open.
1 second. Okay, that may have done it. Let's try again.
He's trying to get out and get into it again. Yeah, yes. I will do it. Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Okay, just try and give me the rights again, please.
This is why they had to trade.
Okay, it's working now. Okay, sorry for the delay. Can you see my screen okay?
Yes.
Brilliant. Okay, I'll whittle on quick as I can. So yeah, basically I am the Innovation Manager at Week at ECS. I'm also Director of the Learning Technology Research Centre at Ravensbourne University, London. I'm Principal Research Fellow. So the problem that we're trying to address with our project, we're looking at the fact that the Heritage Crafts Association in the UK has identified 100 different arts and crafts disciplines that are considered endangered, 50% of which are critically endangered or already extinct. Currently, there's no mechanisms to fully preserve our cultural traditional tool use. So what you can see here is Rachel Linton, who's an artist that does a lot of gold gilding. She's also doing some very innovative work with cymatics. So the mass adoption of digital tech is resulting in the loss of our material culture and our ability to master the use of analog tools. We already heard in a previous talk about how the new generations don't have these analog abilities and they're fast becoming extinct. So what can we do? And it's not just the old skills, it's also the skills that are coming. How can we actually capture things like digital sculpting if you're trying to learn digital sculpting? So it's not just the past, it's also the future that we're looking at. We're also trying to address how to capture, if we're capturing an artist's process, how do we avoid IP issues that artists often have. Even in these talks, we're trying to protect our IP. So you can see it's an ongoing issue. So our solution is a full volumetric capture using multiple different cameras. So we're using HoloLens capture, we're using a holoportal, which actually captures a whole room. And we're able to basically capture your entire performance, your actions, your workflow of the artist, creating a rich data file of the artist's practice. That's important because it enables a novice artist to actually go in and look at any point of that data capture from their perspective. So choose your own viewpoint. It's not about, a sort of a prescriptive route. We're trying to create a declarative route where people can go into that data set and actually focus on very specific things so that they can actually self-direct their learning. There's also the difficulty, as we've spoken to Kristina on this problem of a lot of artists now are purely digital. They're not embodied, they're sitting in front of a computer screen with a mouse. How do we actually capture that process as well, so as to not be irrelevant for digital art? And finally, we're actually looking at things like NFTs. We've already had long conversations with Ilan and Uncopied to actually store this very large data set. At the moment, there's very small capabilities of storing artworks, normally JPEGs or GIFs, but how do you store a very large video capture, especially point clouds? So our product is this performance capture service. We also enable playback in different dimensions. We have a data repository. Algorand's already been mentioned. We don't want art to be destroying the world. We want art to actually save the world. And I think the proof of stake is critical there rather than proof of work. So NFT, contracting, minting, and verification service. And our needs, we're looking to collaborate with artists, museums, science centers, agencies, and research institutions as early adopters to help build a series of prototypes. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much to all of you who just shared their projects within this session with us. So we'll jump now into the Q&A portion before we go into today's next session. And if anybody in the round has any questions, please feel free to post them in the chat also. Or unmute yourself and make yourself somehow recognizable to us. In the meantime, I will kick us off with a question to Elian. So I'm interested in, on the one hand, what the next steps in your development are. I'm also interested to hear a bit which kind of realizations you had maybe throughout the process of Starts in Motion. And lastly, what I'm also interested in is kind of, as you start collaborating with artists, with collections, with museums, maybe what have been their reactions so far? So how have you experienced the collaboration with them now that you are approaching the target group, basically?
Thank you, Kristina. So the next steps, we're actually very near launching the service. We've done one first realization with Peter Wu, who will present later today. So creating both physical and digital certificates for his whole exhibition, which he has made as an NFT, but I will let him present that. We've also started discussing with Carl on some other types of certificates, as Carl just mentioned, for very large files. Apart from this, we are also working on a pilot project with the National Museum of Mali for securing physical artworks. And we're interested there to explore how live artists could sell limited edition prints and NFTs as a way to fund long-term preservation of cultural heritage artworks. Since we started the project, they just had a new coup d'etat, so it's kind of slowed down the progress, but it's still progressing, and we hope that we will have a first realization by the end of the summer, and be able to make progress also on our collaboration with Musée of Quai Branly. So really now it's more about trying things with artists. IP lawyers is very important also. We need to have a good template for those legal documents. And thank you.
Thank you very much. And I think for everybody who is interested into diving into these topics and exploring also collaborations with Elian, I think you are very welcome to reach out to him also and to work with him. And I'll move over to Unmute and to Chaobao and Cooper. So I'm interested also to hear a bit about maybe how Unmute has developed over the past 4 months. So as you are moving through Starts in Motion, what are some of the changes you have made or some of the things you have realized? I'm also interested, which is something we chatted already a little bit about, how you came to the conclusion that a browser-based application is really the way to go. So in terms of accessibility and reaching out to as many people as possible. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you.
Yeah. Thanks, Kristina. So throughout the Starts in Motion process, we knew that we wanted to build an online art exhibition platform to capture the moment, something that we could enjoy with our friends and help put our friends' art online so that people could see it and enjoy it. And what Starts in Motion did was it helped us to consolidate what we were planning. We hired developers and we actually built out the product. And then we also had great mentorship in how we could commercialize as well. And so we had mentors who said totally different and contradicting things to each other, and that was great for us to build our two-way approach to how we would commercialize it. And so really everything for the details of our product to the to our entry to market, Unmute or Starts in Motion has supported all of that.
And for your second question, why we choose to 2D browser based is like we've seen a lot of 3D based that try to see a 3D world that see through the 3D world on 2D screen and then to see 2D art, which makes the experience very choppy. And but a 2D browser based, it's faster, so that you can focus on the art. It's simpler, and everybody with any device can access it. And also a lot of, as I mentioned in the pitch, many digital media that fit better in this form. Like, for example, I didn't get to demo the Spanicos work. A lot of her work are created on YouTube, and it can reach much more people than being constrained in a museum.
And personally, when I go to a museum, it really breaks me out of the moment to have to wait in a long line to put on this VR camera that everybody else has put on, and I wonder about lice, or as I touch the computer mouse that everybody else has touched, is there a better way to do this? And so the browser-based experience really resolves those issues.
And it also allows artists to explore the work in alternative ways, which are not dictated by space and monetary limitations. One of our exhibition are all the projects that have to be discontinued because of government surveillance, regulation, or substantial funding. But our online platform provides an experimental space beyond those limitations.
Thank you very much, both. And
nice. Okay. Nice.
Thanks to you both. Also, thank you for really taking the time at 3 in the morning for being with us here today and sharing Unmute. And I think it can be a super interesting platform for all curators, producers to explore, who are looking to integrate maybe a browser-based exhibition with an exhibition they're working on, or who are looking to experiment also with a browser-based exhibition format, because Unmute really gives a whole package of support also to the curators and the artists. So please feel very free also to reach out to Team Unmute if you are interested in exploring this in your own work. So I think I'll jump to Lily now. And I was interested during your presentation, you are going to approach Gen Z, so the younger audiences. I'm wondering how you are already working with them now in the process of development, and then also when they are going to use your platform, your framework. How will they use it? What will they need to actually access and work with your tools that you are going to make available?
Thank you so much for the question, Kristina. Some parts of it I cannot answer because we are trying to keep a bit confidentiality around some parts. But in terms of the engagement with our target audience, I'm a visiting lecturer at a couple of universities in Europe, so I engage on a daily basis with this amazing younger generation who are either related to fashion or just technology. So it's an incredible platform already to kind of discuss what their opinion is on this whole kind of revolution and how they are, using and approaching technologies in their daily life. In terms of testing it out, since we are building the core system architecture for both products using AR and VR, we are not at the user tester stage yet. We just started doing it for the VR direction. However, we created some focus group sessions where we could engage them and they could give us some feedback on different kind of brand profile elements. Because for us, obviously, it's really important to develop something that they will actually want to consume and they will want to engage with it. It's really important to find the right tone to create the right connection. And then I think your second question was how will they actually use this? So I will just try to keep it as kind of like tiny as I can. We will start with a mobile application. That was a teaser that you could see in the end of our presentation. We are really dedicated to provide free experiences, so you will be able to get it from one of the stores, and then you will be able to try it out, and there will be options to engage further with the application. This will lead into a whole platform development that, I don't know, I didn't want to use this buzzword today, the metaverse, but we are really eager to bring the concept of metaverse and cross-platform experiences closer to the everyday consumer. So this mobile application will be the gateway towards that platform, and that will also include something with virtual reality.
Thank you very much. So I think we can all keep an eye on Digital Fashion Framework over the next months and look for opportunities when we may try it ourselves and try the experience ourselves of what the team is developing. So I'm excited to see where this is going. And ending now the session with going to WeKit. I'm interested to hear, I mean, you mentioned already in your presentation that you're going to work with artists, that you are already working with artists in kind of preserving their process of working, documenting it, recording it with WeKit and with your technology. And what I was thinking about is how, once you've gone through this whole process, how will you make it available to the artists, and where else are you thinking about making this available to other audiences? So how, because I imagine it's also with huge amounts of data, it's also interesting how you can then share this with a wider audience. And also maybe a little bit, what are the next kind of developments you're working on, and what's the next step for WeKit maybe?
Thanks, Kristina, and thanks for all your amazing mentoring. I think it's a great question, and as you saw in our product, it's very much one of those elements that we're needing other partners for. I think how you actually view the content is a big one, especially when we're working with such large data sets. But there are solutions on the horizon. So we've worked with HoloLens, with Microsoft for a long time. Microsoft Mesh is coming. Microsoft Mesh allows multiple people to be in a mixed reality environment, seeing large data sets, large shared data sets. And I think, mixed reality is definitely on the rise when it comes to things like Apple Glass on the horizon. I think Apple, when they produce their mixed reality solution, it will be the game changer for mixed reality, much like the iPhone was for smartphones. So yeah, I think that there's always those technical challenges, and I think the key thing for me, and it's coming up a lot in the previous talks, is we need a hybrid approach to a lot of this stuff. It's not enough for me to just experience something purely digitally. I think that I do definitely want to see more embodiment, more we talked together about the whole thing around so many digital artists just staring at screens. We're all just staring at screens. So this project for me is about how do we take the analog, how do we take the best of the analog and actually bring it back into the digital. And I think that's what this project's all about, the hybrid approach. And the metaverse has been mentioned. We're seeing digital twins, we're seeing world building, these new terms. I think that there's a lot more literacy needed in this new world that's opening up. And I just think I'm always writing in my notebooks, and you know, it's a very analog process. And I think that handwriting has so many features that we lose if we're just constantly stuck in on a screen-based interaction.
Thank you very much. Thanks to the whole group for this wonderful session and for sharing your projects with us. And I'm now going to hand over to Aurélie, who is going to share with us the next session of today.